Flight Risk is an intense character-focused thriller that delves into themes of redemption, justice, and moral ambiguity, primarily set inside a small aircraft navigating the perilous Alaskan wilderness. The plot revolves around a seasoned pilot, a U.S. marshal, and a dangerous criminal as they embark on a treacherous journey marked by shifting loyalties and the primal instinct for survival. The film commences at a snowy tarmac in a remote Alaskan outpost where we are introduced to Ethan Vance, a hardened bush pilot with a troubled past. Ethan is known for daring flights through treacherous weather conditions and embodies a man fleeing both physically and emotionally from his history. Although he projects an exterior of calmness, his past trauma and deep-seated guilt lurk beneath the surface. Ethan is enlisted by federal authorities to transport a nameless criminal to Anchorage, accompanied by Deputy Marshal Tessa Raines. Tessa is portrayed as tough and rule-oriented, harboring suspicion towards both men on the expedition. The criminal Dean Keller stands accused of a heinous murder but vehemently insists he is a victim of a frame-up. As the trio prepares for a quick flight, ominous storm warnings trigger heightened tension even before departure. Upon boarding Ethan's small Cessna, an air of discomfort permeates the cabin. Dean, shackled and seated at the back, is closely monitored by Tessa while Ethan concentrates on navigating the deteriorating weather conditions. The takeoff is bumpy and they soon find themselves battling fierce winds, poor visibility, and a troubling radio silence from control towers. As the journey unfolds, a psychological duel commences. Dean begins to probe into both Tessa and Ethan, sowing seeds of doubt and divulging personal information that raises eyebrows. He alludes to Ethan's dark past, hinting at a mysterious incident involving a failed rescue and the tragic death of a child. Ethan's reaction suggests there may be truth in Dean's insinuations. Dean warns Tessa of Ethan's unreliability while also hinting to Ethan about the hidden agendas within the U.S. Marshals. The situation escalates when mechanical issues plague the plane, forcing Ethan to make a precarious emergency landing on a frozen riverbed. Now stranded and isolated in the unforgiving Alaskan wilderness, the trio faces the dual challenges of survival and mutual suspicion. With temperatures plummeting and supplies dwindling, they are compelled to create a makeshift camp within the aircraft as each character grapples with their deepening conflict and the quest for survival. As darkness envelopes the scene, Dean cunningly provokes Ethan into doubting Tessa's intentions, suggesting she plans to use him as a scapegoat if anything goes awry, hinting at a hidden agenda for needing to transport him. Tessa counters by warning Ethan about Dean's manipulative and possibly sociopathic nature. She accuses Ethan of letting his emotions cloud his judgment and insists he should remain professional throughout their crisis. In a sudden turn of events, Dean manages to break free from his restraints, overpowering Tessa and snatching her firearm. Chaos ensues when a shot rings out, wounding Tessa, leaving Ethan no choice but to pursue Dean into the frigid wilderness. The chase through the snow-covered forest is treacherous. Dean, utilizing his resourcefulness, faces Ethan with cunning tactics as they navigate the perilous terrain. Eventually, Ethan corners him near a frozen ravine, leading to an intense hand-to-hand combat struggle. After a fierce confrontation, Ethan successfully subdues Dean and drags him back to the crash site where Tessa remains bleeding and unconscious. Ethan is confronted with a harrowing decision. Should he trust Dean, his recent adversary, to aid in obtaining medical help for Tessa, or should he attempt to manage everything alone? After much internal conflict, he decides to unshackle Dean, albeit reluctantly, forming an unlikely partnership. Together they construct a makeshift sled and begin the perilous journey toward a ranger station previously sighted from the air. During their trek, Dean confides in Ethan, revealing his history of criminal activity but maintaining his innocence regarding the murder charge he faces, claiming he was framed by individuals within the organization he attempted to abandon. Ethan finds himself torn between skepticism and newfound empathy, starting to view Dean as a man grappling with his own demons, which parallel Ethan's guilt over a past tragedy, a failed rescue that resulted in a young boy's death and effectively ended his career, forcing him into self-exile in Alaska. Upon reaching the ranger station, Tessa begins to lose consciousness. They attempt to use the radio for help, only to discover their signal is intercepted by the very corrupt law enforcement officers Dean warned about, who are funded by the drug syndicate. A confrontation is imminent as the antagonists arrive by helicopter, demanding Dean's surrender. Ethan tactically stalls them, creating a window for Dean to organize an improvised defense. The situation escalates into a firefight around the cabin, culminating in Dean sacrificing himself to shield Ethan and Tessa. In a moment of true redemption, despite sustaining fatal injuries, Dean manages to eliminate the lead enforcer, cementing his character's transformation amidst the chaos. The film unfolds in a desolate Alaskan outpost enveloped in snow and shrouded in low visibility. Veteran bush pilot Ethan Vance prepares his small aircraft for a classified federal transport, displaying a detached demeanor and an undercurrent of fatigue hinting at a troubled past. The mission involves flying Deputy Marshal Tessa Raines and a dangerous federal prisoner Dean Keller to Anchorage. Dean, bound and under tight surveillance, remains unerringly calm despite being accused of murder and linked to organized crime. As they board the aircraft, weather warnings filter through the radio, hinting at the impending chaos. The flight begins with palpable tension in the cramped cockpit. As Ethan navigates through worsening weather, Tessa remains vigilant, keeping a wary eye on Dean, who begins to reveal unsettling insights about their lives. He taunts Tessa with knowledge of her previous cases while cryptically referencing Ethan's tragic past involving a child's death. Despite the tension, Ethan maintains a stoic front, gripping the controls tighter as visibility diminishes. Suddenly, a fierce storm engulfs the aircraft, leading to mechanical failures. With no navigational help available, Ethan is forced to attempt a treacherous emergency landing, resulting in the plane skidding onto a frozen riverbed in the unforgiving wilderness. Stranded and cut off from assistance, the trio takes refuge in the aircraft. As temperatures plummet and supplies dwindle, mistrust escalates. Dean exploits the situation, insinuating that Tessa harbors secrets and suggesting that Ethan's value lies merely in his ability to fly, implying he is expendable. The psychological tension mounts as Dean continues to probe into their insecurities, which begins to affect both Tessa and Ethan. Dean's manipulative commentary pushes Tessa to confront him, but the atmosphere grows more charged as reality encroaches on their psychological endurance. Ultimately, a state trooper team responds to an emergency signal and rescues Tessa and Ethan. Tessa finds herself recuperating in a hospital while Ethan is cleared of any wrongdoing, his reputation intact. Dean's name, however, remains mired in ambiguity, with Tessa contemplating the conspiracy surrounding his case, leaving open the possibility of further investigation. As the film concludes, Ethan takes to the skies once more, this time flying solo across Alaska's expansive, serene skies. His expression reveals a newfound sense of peace. He is no longer a man running from the law or his own past. Instead, he embraces his independence and the weight of his experiences, hinting at personal redemption through the challenges faced. Actions led to a tragic outcome, an incident that haunts him. As he navigates the harsh conditions with Dean and the injured Tessa, Ethan grapples with guilt and the weight of his past decisions. The journey is fraught with tension, both from the hostile environment and their precarious partnership. Dean continues to weave a narrative of betrayal, sowing seeds of doubt in Ethan's mind about the reliability of the authorities and the integrity of the system they serve. Each mile increases not only the physical strain but also the psychological burden on Ethan as he weighs Dean's claims against his own experiences within law enforcement. Dean's attempts to manipulate the situation become more profound as they face challenges on their trek. At one point, they encounter a treacherous stretch of ice that threatens to collapse beneath them, forcing Ethan to decide between saving himself or trusting Dean to help carry Tessa. The choice is emblematic of his internal struggle. The desire to do right by Tessa clashes with the fear of being manipulated by Dean, who's proving both resourceful and deceptive. As they reach a point near the ranger station, things take a turn when the terrain proves to be more perilous than anticipated. Tessa's condition worsens and their limited resources become a cause for concern. With every passing hour, Ethan feels the pressure mounting, not only from the elements but from Dean's dubious cooperation. Ethan has to determine whether to fully trust Dean or take decisive actions to mitigate any risks he poses to both Tessa and himself. Finally, they arrive at the ranger station, but not without a climactic confrontation. Dean's true motives come into question, and Ethan must navigate his tumultuous feelings of resentment and the need to protect Tessa. As they reach the station, Ethan is faced with a critical decision about revealing the truth of Dean's claims, potentially risking his career and credibility. In the end, Ethan's journey is more than a fight for survival, it becomes a search for redemption. The connection between the three characters is tested through character revelations and moral dilemmas, ultimately forcing Ethan to confront not only the dangers posed by the harsh wilderness but also the emotional scars of his past. The narrative leaves readers on a precipice, questioning loyalty and the true meaning of justice amidst chaos. If you enjoy watching this video, then subscribe to Angel Recaps for the latest movies explanation.